1991, Operation Desert Storm introduced the world to an entirely new era of absolute technological firepower and massive battlefield looting. Today, we are breaking down 100 firearms, heavy machine guns, and captured enemy weapons confiscated by American troops to completely obliterate the Iraqi military. Let us start with the combat pistols. M9 Beretta, the standard sidearm. This reliable 9mm semi-automatic pistol served as the primary sidearm for American officers. It replaced older generation revolvers by offering a much larger 15-round magazine capacity. Its lightweight aluminum frame proved incredibly effective during tight urban combat situations. M1911 A1, the old reliable. This legendary 45 caliber pistol was heavily carried by elite special operations forces. Marine reconnaissance units refused to give up its unmatched heavy stopping power in close quarters. It faithfully served one final major combat deployment before being retired from widespread service. SIG Sauer P226, the SEAL sidearm. Naval Special Warfare operators exclusively favored this highly reliable 9mm pistol for maritime combat. It offered exceptional resistance to saltwater corrosion during intense amphibious combat operations. Elite frogmen trusted its high magazine capacity to quickly neutralize sudden coastal threats. Smith & Wesson Model 15, the base defender. This 38 caliber combat revolver was prominently carried by Air Force security police. It provided a highly reliable defensive option for military law enforcement guarding vital desert airfields. Its simple double-action mechanism ensured immediate firing capability during sudden base attacks. Smith & Wesson Model 66, the naval revolver. This stainless steel combat revolver was heavily issued to specific naval security detachments. Its highly durable metallic finish effortlessly resisted the incredibly harsh and salty marine environment. It provided immense stopping power for sailors guarding highly vulnerable supply ships. Ruger Mk2 suppressed, the Hush Puppy. This highly specialized 22 caliber pistol features a completely integrated sound suppressor. It was specifically utilized by elite covert teams to silently eliminate enemy guard dogs. Its completely quiet operation prevented massive enemy bases from detecting stealthy night infiltrations. Heckler & Koch P9S, the covert pistol. This advanced suppressed pistol was uniquely issued to specialized naval strike teams. It features a unique delayed blowback mechanism that makes it exceptionally quiet when fired. Elite operators relied on its silent precision to silently eliminate hostile sentries in the dark. Makarov PM, the Soviet sidearm. American reconnaissance teams secured hundreds of these reliable handguns directly from captured Iraqi military commanders. It utilizes a simple straight blowback mechanism that guaranteed flawless reliability in the desert sand. They were frequently discovered hidden inside the luxury bunkers abandoned by the fleeing enemy elite. Tokarev TT-33, the officer relic. Frontline troops frequently encountered these historical weapons hidden deeply inside captured enemy command bunkers. It fires an exceptionally fast bottlenecked cartridge that can easily pierce light body armor. Soldiers happily confiscated these vintage Soviet pistols from the Second Global Conflict as rare personal war souvenirs. Tariq pistol, the Iraqi officer handgun. This domestically produced Iraqi service pistol was seized from Republican Guard units overwhelmed during the ground invasion. It was actively carried by high-ranking enemy officers who surrendered their weapons to advancing American tanks. Troops actively secured thousands of these unique handguns from surrendered command bunkers to prevent future insurgencies. Glock 17, the plastic pioneer. This revolutionary polymer-framed pistol was completely brand new during the time of the massive desert conflict. Secretive units like Delta Force actively tested and utilized these lightweight pistols during classified deep desert deployments. It flawlessly proved that plastic-framed firearms could easily survive the hottest combat conditions on Earth. Browning High Power, the coalition sidearm. This legendary 9mm pistol was heavily carried by British Allied forces and American Special Operations personnel. It features a massive 13-round double-stacked magazine that completely revolutionized combat handgun firepower. Elite operators highly trusted its proven steel construction during intense close-quarters room-clearing operations. M11 Compact Pistol, the Investigator. This concealable 9mm pistol was officially issued to military police investigators operators and covert intelligence agents. It features a shortened barrel and compact grip to remain hidden underneath civilian clothing during undercover operations. Elite military personnel heavily favored its flawless reliability when operating in highly sensitive enemy environments. Next is the assault rifles. M16A2, the desert rifle. This highly accurate assault rifle served as the absolute primary infantry weapon for American troops. It famously introduced a 3-round burst firing mode to intentionally conserve vital combat ammunition. Its advanced adjustable sighting system allowed soldiers to effectively engage enemy targets across vast distances. M16A1, the Vietnam veteran. This fully automatic older generation rifle was still carried by rear echelon and logistical support troops. It provided essential defensive firepower for vulnerable supply truck drivers traversing the dangerous desert. It faithfully protected crucial supply lines from sudden enemy ambushes and raids. Heckler & Koch HK-33, the SEAL rifle. This highly accurate 5.56mm assault rifle was occasionally fielded by highly elite Navy SEAL units. It utilizes a unique roller-delayed blowback mechanism that guarantees flawless extraction in extremely dusty environments. It provided specialized aquatic operators with a highly reliable alternative to standard military-issue combat rifles. AK-47 assault rifle, the battlefield pickup. American Special Forces actively looted this legendary Soviet rifle from abandoned supply trucks to blend into hostile territory. It utilizes an abundant 30-round magazine of heavy ammunition scavenged everywhere in captured desert camps. Elite troops relied on its unbreakable reliability when operating deep behind enemy lines without official resupply. AKM assault rifle, the modernized enemy. This modernized stamped steel version of the classic Soviet rifle was universally captured from surrendering Iraqi soldiers. Allied troops frequently secured these reliable weapons directly from massive underground enemy stockpiles discovered during the invasion. They served brilliantly as effective backup weapons for elite reconnaissance teams navigating isolated desert environments. Type 56 assault rifle, the Chinese clone. This Chinese-manufactured copy of the famous Soviet assault rifle was confiscated by the truckload from overrun Iraqi trenches. It features a distinctive folding spike bayonet perfectly suited for the brutal close-quarters combat encountered during bunker raids. American explosive ordnance teams actively destroyed tens of thousands of these captured rifles in massive desert bonfires. Zastava M70, the Yugo rifle. This rugged Yugoslavian assault rifle was seized from retreating enemy infantry divisions entirely overwhelmed by American armor. It features distinctive wooden handguards and a reinforced steel receiver specifically designed for firing heavy rifle grenades. American forces gathered massive stockpiles of these heavy rifles from abandoned enemy armories to permanently demilitarize the combat zones. Next is the carbines. AR-15 Commando, the Shorty. This extremely compact assault carbine was heavily utilized by elite special forces units. It features a significantly shortened barrel specifically designed for rapid deployment in exceptionally tight spaces. It perfectly provided overwhelming automatic firepower for stealthy reconnaissance patrols operating deep behind enemy lines. JU-5A Carbine, the Pilot Protector. This lightweight carbine was exclusively issued to Air Force flight crews and security personnel. It was brilliantly designed to easily fit entirely inside the incredibly cramped cockpit of a fighter jet. It guaranteed that downed American pilots had absolute overwhelming firepower to survive deep in hostile territory. SKS Carbine, the Soviet Relic. This iconic semi-automatic Soviet rifle was widely captured directly from overwhelmed Iraqi conscripts abandoned by their commanders. It features a permanently attached folding bayonet that perfectly folds flush under the wooden barrel. American troops highly prized pristine captured models pulled from untouched weapon crates as historical trophies of the rapid ground war. Next is the battle rifles. M14 battle rifle, the heavy hitter. This massive 7.62mm rifle was highly favored by explosive ordnance disposal teams. It fires an exceptionally powerful heavy round that can effortlessly destroy unexploded bombs from a safe distance. Navy SEALs also utilized its incredible long-range stopping power to engage distant enemy patrols. Next is the submachine guns. MP5A3, the raid gun. This highly accurate 9mm submachine gun was heavily utilized by Navy SEALs and covert teams. It fires from a closed bolt system to provide unmatched precision during fast close-quarters combat. It perfectly allowed elite operators to rapidly clear tight rooms during classified nighttime ship boarding operations. MP5 SD M93, the Whisper. This highly specialized submachine gun features a massive permanently attached sound suppressor. It was heavily used by special operations units to silently breach heavily fortified enemy command bunkers. Its muffled firing signature absolutely terrified isolated enemy guards operating in the dead of night. MP5K, the briefcase gun. This exceptionally tiny submachine gun completely removes the shoulder stock for absolute maximum concealment. It was heavily carried by specialized protective details guarding high-ranking American generals in the combat zone. It delivers a devastating wall of rapid automatic fire to instantly break violent enemy ambushes. Uzi submachine gun, the Secret Service asset. This highly iconic compact weapon was heavily deployed by specialized military intelligence protection details. Its incredibly robust stamped steel construction effortlessly survived the exceptionally harsh and sandy desert environment. It provided essential rapid defensive firepower for highly classified government personnel traveling the war zone. M3A1 grease gun, the tanker toy. Incredibly, this vintage World War II submachine gun was still actively carried by American armored tank crews. Its exceptionally compact size made it the perfect emergency defensive weapon to store inside cramped tank cabins. It proudly served as a fascinating historical bridge between the greatest generation and the modern digital battlefield. Colt 9mm submachine gun, the Marine SMG. This highly compact weapon utilizes the deeply familiar controls of the standard American assault rifle but uniquely fires pistol ammunition. It was heavily utilized by elite Marine Corps security forces guarding highly sensitive naval installations and embassy compounds. It perfectly provided overwhelming close-quarters automatic fire without over-penetrating thin walls inside crowded urban combat structures. Next is the machine pistols. MAC-10, the bullet hose. This incredibly compact machine pistol delivers a totally terrifying rate of fully automatic fire. It was carried by specialized covert operators who strictly required absolute maximum firepower in the smallest possible package. Its massive stopping power was highly favored for violent vehicle ambushes and aggressive room clearing. Next is the combat shotguns. Mossberg 500, the trench sweeper. This incredibly rugged pump-action shotgun was heavily utilized for violently breaching locked doors. It features a highly durable aluminum receiver that flawlessly survived the exceptionally harsh desert environment. It provided devastating close-range stopping power when infantry squads stormed heavily fortified trench networks. Remington 870, the breacher. This highly reliable combat shotgun served directly alongside other pump-action variants as an essential tactical tool. It perfectly fired heavy buckshot rounds to instantly neutralize sudden immediate threats inside dark building spaces. Frontline troops heavily relied on its completely unbreakable steel construction during the most intense urban combat. Ithaca 37, the slam fire. This legacy pump-action shotgun famously ejects empty shells directly downward to prevent sand contamination. It was highly prized by infantry point men for its unique ability to fire incredibly rapidly by holding the trigger. It absolutely devastated enemy defenders caught entirely off guard during sudden aggressive bunker raids. Winchester 1200, the guard dog. This lightweight pump-action shotgun was prominently used by military police for vital base security. It utilizes a highly advanced rotary bolt design for incredibly smooth and rapid follow-up shots. It provided completely lethal immediate stopping power against sudden hostile infiltrators breaching Allied encampments. Remington 1100, the auto sweeper. This semi-automatic combat shotgun was utilized by highly specialized naval boarding teams. It fires heavy tactical buckshot as incredibly fast as the operator can simply pull the trigger. It was absolutely essential for violently dominating narrow hallways inside captured enemy cargo ships. High Standard Model 10, the bullpup shotgun. This incredibly unique semi-automatic combat shotgun features a strange futuristic bullpup configuration to minimize its overall length. It was heavily utilized by elite naval special warfare operators for dominating tight ship corridors during marine boardings. Although mechanically temperamental in the thick desert dust, it perfectly provided absolute devastating stopping power in close quarters combat. Next is the sniper rifles. M24 sniper weapon system, the long shot. This highly precise bolt-action sniper rifle allowed elite marksmen to eliminate high-value targets from extreme distances. It utilizes highly specialized match-grade ammunition ammunition to absolutely guarantee a perfectly lethal hit on the first shot. It proved incredibly valuable for neutralizing enemy officers across the vast open desert landscape. M21 Sniper Rifle, the Marksman. This semi-automatic precision rifle was actively used by Army sharpshooters to quickly engage multiple distant targets. It is built directly upon a highly modified battle rifle chassis and features a powerful variable zoom optic. It flawlessly bridged the tactical gap between standard infantry rifles and dedicated heavy bolt-action sniper systems. M40A1 Sniper Rifle, the Marine Hunter. This custom-built bolt-action sniper rifle was exclusively utilized by elite Marine Corps Scout snipers. It is meticulously handcrafted by military armorers to withstand the absolute harshest combat conditions on Earth. It famously delivered completely devastating precision fire against enemy artillery spotters deeply entrenched in the sand. Tabuk Sniper Rifle, the Iraqi Marksman. Advancing American frontline troops actively looted this domestically produced Iraqi-designated marksman rifle from secured Republican Guard strongholds. It features a significantly lengthened barrel and a specialized combat optic intended for engaging coalition targets at long distances. Highly elite American soldiers hunted for these unique precision rifles during compound raids to secure them as ultimate battlefield trophies. SVD Dragunov, the enemy sniper. This iconic Soviet semi-automatic sniper rifle was stripped directly from the camouflaged fighting positions of neutralized enemy snipers. It utilizes a reliable short-stroke gas piston system to deliver devastating heavy rifle rounds over extreme desert distances. Specialized American reconnaissance troops occasionally utilized these captured units to mask their distinct acoustic firing signature deep behind enemy lines. Next is the anti-material rifles. Beretta M82 A1, the Light 50. This massive semi-automatic anti-material rifle fires the exact same heavy round as a heavy machine gun. It was brilliantly utilized by special forces to safely destroy unexploded ordnance and disable parked fighter jets. Its absolutely terrifying kinetic energy can easily punch straight through thick concrete walls and light armored vehicles. Macmillan M88, the bolt-action 50. This highly specialized bolt-action 50 caliber rifle was primarily utilized by elite naval explosive ordnance disposal units. It safely obliterates highly dangerous sea mines and extremely heavily armored coastal targets from afar. Its highly robust manual bolt-action mechanism absolutely guarantees flawless extraction in heavily sandstorm-covered environments. Next is the light machine guns. M249 SAW, the Squad Automatic. This lightweight belt-fed machine gun provided absolutely overwhelming suppressive fire for every advancing infantry squad. It brilliantly allows a single advancing soldier to effortlessly lay down the continuous firepower of an entire team. Its incredible rate of fire perfectly pinned down enemy combatants so friendly troops could safely maneuver. Stoner 63 LMG, the SEAL gun. This incredibly unique modular machine gun was exclusively carried by elite Navy SEAL platoons in the desert. It is exceptionally lightweight and feeds heavily linked ammunition directly from a completely enclosed plastic box. Elite frogmen heavily relied on its completely massive firepower to violently break contact during compromised stealth patrols. RPK light machine gun, the enemy suppressor. Covert American teams actively looted captured stockpiles of these heavy weapons from destroyed enemy logistical convoys. It successfully fires the exact same heavy ammunition as the standard infantry rifles, but at a much higher sustained combat rate. Elite operators brilliantly utilized these fully acquired enemy weapons to disguise their acoustic firing signature during covert night raids. Next is the medium machine guns. M60 General Purpose, the classic pig. This legacy heavy machine gun was prominently utilized by rear echelon forces and base defense platoons. It fires absolutely devastating 7.62mm rounds to completely shred light enemy vehicles. It successfully defended highly critical supply routes from sudden violent ambushes by retreating enemy units. M60 E3 Lightweight, the Marine Pig. This specifically lightened variant was heavily utilized by the Marine Corps to balance extreme firepower with mobility. It features a shortened barrel and a highly improved forward grip for aggressive assault operations. It famously chewed through thin enemy barricades and completely dominated intense trench-clearing combat engagements. M240 Medium Machine Gun, the Tank Gun. This incredibly reliable heavy weapon was initially utilized purely as a mounted vehicle machine gun. It fires heavy rifle rounds at an extremely high rate of fire without ever jamming in the thick desert dust. Its incredible mechanical reliability completely outclassed older enemy machine guns guns during fierce mechanized assaults. M240G ground variant, the Heavy Grunt. The Marine Corps brilliantly dismounted this heavy vehicle machine gun and explicitly modified it for infantry use. It completely eliminated the frequent jamming issues that desperately plagued the older legacy machine gun designs. It rapidly became the absolute deeply beloved heavy base of fire for all advancing Marine infantry platoons. PKM General Purpose Machine Gun, the Soviet PIG. Special Operations Forces physically captured these devastating belt-fed machine guns directly from overrun enemy defensive bunkers. It fires an exceptionally powerful full-sized rifle cartridge that can easily punch straight through light American patrol vehicles. American troops respected its terrifying mechanical reliability and frequently utilized captured units to defend their own isolated desert outposts. Next is the heavy machine guns. M2 Browning, the Ma-Deuce. This truly legendary heavy 50 caliber machine gun completely obliterates both light vehicles and enemy infantry. It has served flawlessly in absolutely every major American conflict and fires rounds that instantly destroy mud walls. Its incredible kinetic stopping power easily punched straight through enemy barricades and light armored troop carriers. M85 Heavy Machine Gun, the Patton Gun. This incredibly heavy 50 caliber machine gun was actively heavily mounted completely inside the commander cupola of older generation Marine tanks. It was brilliantly specifically designed to perfectly fit inside cramped armored turrets while actively delivering massive explosive anti-aircraft fire. It faithfully bravely served one absolute final major combat deployment before being completely phased out by highly modern weapon systems. DShK Heavy Machine Gun, the DShK. Coalition forces successfully confiscated hundreds of these terrifying heavy weapons after neutralizing enemy positions using precisely guided bombs. It fires a highly devastating explosive round that previously threatened to tear directly through light American reconnaissance vehicles. American combat engineers actively utilized massive explosive charges to permanently destroy these captured anti-aircraft guns directly in the open desert. KPV Heavy Machine Gun, the Anti-Air Beast. Advancing ground forces seized these massive 14.5mm machine guns from abandoned enemy anti-aircraft sites. It effortlessly tears directly through light aircraft armor and unarmored patrol vehicles from extremely long engagement distances. American troops safely secured these massive heavy weapons after stealth bombers systematically hunted the fortified positions before the main invasion. M134 Minigun, the Handheld Shredder. While primarily heavily mounted on transport helicopters, specialized elite infantry teams occasionally mounted this terrifying weapon on ground buggies. It utilizes an external electrical power source to rotate 6 massive barrels and unleash thousands of rounds per minute. Its absolutely devastating cyclic rate of fire completely leveled thin enemy structures and utterly shattered hostile infantry morale. Next is the grenade launchers. M203, the Thumper. This single-shot 40mm grenade launcher is seamlessly attached directly under the barrel of an infantry rifle. It allows a dedicated squad grenadier to accurately lob high explosive rounds directly into enemy trenches. It completely bridges the dangerous tactical gap between standard throwing grenades and heavy infantry mortar systems. M79, the Bloop Tube. This legacy standalone grenade launcher was still actively preferred by elite special forces units for its incredible accuracy. It breaks open exactly like a standard hunting shotgun to rapidly load highly specialized explosive munitions. It provided absolutely vital and highly accurate indirect fire support during entirely isolated deep desert raids. MK-19, the automatic launcher. This absolutely terrifying heavy weapon completely blankets the battlefield by firing dozens of explosive grenades every minute. It is heavily mounted on rapid patrol vehicles to unleash a devastating torrent of explosives against entrenched troops. Its incredible explosive saturation rate makes it an absolute nightmare for any hostile forces caught in the open. MM-1 Rotary, the Street Sweeper. This incredibly rare heavy grenade launcher utilizes a massive revolving cylinder to hold 12 separate explosive rounds. It was carried highly exclusively by specialized elite teams specifically for completely dominating fierce urban combat. It can entirely empty its incredibly massive explosive payload into a hostile building in mere absolute seconds. Next is the fragmentation grenades. M67 Fragmentation Grenade, the Baseball. This highly lethal explosive throwing weapon is a completely mandatory piece of tactical equipment for every combat soldier. It perfectly explodes into absolutely thousands of deadly steel fragments to instantly clear highly fortified rooms. Its distinctly spherical shape was brilliantly designed to be thrown exactly like a standard American baseball. V40 Mini Grenade, the golf ball. This exceptionally tiny fragmentation grenade is literally exactly the physical size of a standard golf ball. It was carried exclusively by covert special forces units because an operator can easily carry dozens at once. Its highly compact size allowed elite teams to absolutely saturate a small room with multiple massive rapid explosions. Mk3A2 Offensive Grenade, the concussion maker. This specialized grenade heavily relies entirely on massive explosive blast pressure rather than spreading deadly metal fragments. It is brilliantly designed to safely eliminate enemy targets inside enclosed spaces without risking dangerous shrapnel bounce back. Elite troops utilized it perfectly to completely stun and neutralize hostiles hiding deeply inside narrow desert caves. Next is the tactical grenades. M18 Colored Smoke Grenade, the marker. This non-lethal chemical grenade generates a massive thick cloud of highly vibrant colored smoke. It was absolutely essential for visually signaling rescue helicopters and actively marking targets for incoming fighter jets. It flawlessly prevented completely tragic friendly fire incidents in the highly chaotic and utterly featureless desert landscape. M14 Incendiary Grenade, the melter. This terrifying, highly specialized grenade burns at an absolutely unbelievable 4,000 degrees Fahrenheit. It was heavily used by special operators to completely melt captured enemy artillery pieces and secret radar equipment. Its massive chemical heat completely destroys the vital internal mechanisms of highly valuable enemy weapon systems. M84 Stun Grenade, the flashbang. This completely non-lethal explosive creates an absolutely blinding flash of light and a deeply deafening explosive roar. It was exclusively utilized by highly elite rescue teams to completely disorient heavily armed hostage takers. It flawlessly allowed tactical operators to rapidly storm small rooms before the enemy could completely react. ANM-8 White Smoke Grenade, the screen. This incredibly powerful chemical grenade rapidly creates a massive impenetrable wall of blinding thick white smoke. It was heavily used by advancing infantry squads to completely conceal their aggressive forward movements from enemy snipers. It provided absolutely essential visual cover for brave combat medics actively rescuing wounded soldiers under direct fire. M34 White Phosphorus, the Willy Pete. This absolutely terrifying chemical grenade perfectly bursts into highly deadly burning fragments that cannot be extinguished with water. It was aggressively used to completely burn out deeply fortified enemy bunkers and absolutely destroy vital equipment. Its deeply horrific burning effects absolutely shattered the fragile morale of deeply entrenched enemy defensive lines. M7A3 CS Riot Grenade, the gas. This potent tear gas grenade creates a completely suffocating chemical cloud that violently burns the eyes and lungs. It was heavily utilized to effortlessly force completely stubborn enemy combatants entirely out of deeply fortified tunnel networks. It safely allowed American troops to massively capture choking enemy prisoners entirely without firing a single lethal shot. Next is the disposable anti-tank rockets. M136 AT4, the bunker buster. This lightweight disposable anti-tank weapon was completely essential for infantry squads facing heavily fortified enemy positions. It fires a massive 84mm unguided shaped charge that can instantly destroy light enemy armor. Soldiers heavily relied on this highly portable weapon to quickly eliminate sudden heavy threats during compound clearing operations. M72 A3 Law, the light anti-armor. This incredibly compact rocket launcher is completely collapsible and highly favored by troops for its extreme portability. It provides a highly effective emergency defense against rapidly advancing light armored vehicles and fortified sniper positions. Its highly disposable nature allowed advancing troops to quickly fire a devastating rocket and immediately continue their assault. RPG-18, the Soviet Law. Elite American units actively raided untouched Iraqi supply depots to utilize perfectly captured stockpiles of these disposable rocket launchers. It completely telescopes outward to rapidly prepare a devastating unguided anti-armor explosive rocket for immediate firing. American soldiers effectively fired these acquired enemy rockets to blow open heavily fortified enemy compound doors during intense urban clearing. RPG-22, the upgraded tube. Coalition forces effectively neutralized and confiscated thousands of these highly dangerous launchers during rapid compound clearing operations. operations. It was massively distributed among entrenched enemy defensive lines to counter advancing American battle tanks before the enemy surrendered en masse. It features a significantly larger explosive warhead explicitly designed for utterly destroying heavy armor. Next is the guided anti-tank missiles. Mk-153 SAW, the wall breacher. This highly specialized reusable rocket launcher was issued exclusively to elite Marine Corps assault infantry units. It features a unique spotting rifle attached to the side to absolutely guarantee a perfectly accurate rocket strike. It fires specialized dual-purpose rockets explicitly designed to completely obliterate thick reinforced concrete bunkers. FGM-77 Dragon, the tank tracker. This wire-guided anti-tank missile launcher was manually carried by dedicated heavy infantry squads to destroy enemy armor. The highly trained operator must actively keep the crosshairs perfectly aimed at the target until the missile impacts. It gave dismounted troops the absolute raw firepower necessary to completely disable massive enemy tanks from a safe distance. BGM-71 TOW, the wire-guided killer. This extremely heavy anti-tank missile system was famously fired from highly portable heavy infantry tripod mounts. It uses incredibly thin trailing wires to physically guide a massive explosive warhead directly into an enemy tank. It completely dominated the incredibly flat desert terrain where gunners could clearly see and destroy targets from miles away. RPG-7, the rocket-propelled grenade. Elite American forces frequently commandeered abandoned enemy launchers from bombed-out Iraqi outposts to aggressively destroy fortified bunkers. It successfully fires a distinctive explosive warhead capable of completely disabling light coalition patrol vehicles with a direct hit. This iconic shoulder-fired anti-tank weapon was physically encountered and successfully confiscated in massive numbers across the entire war zone. SPG-9, the recoilless spear. Advancing American infantry seized these incredibly heavy tripod-mounted recoilless guns from stationary enemy infantry battalions that had desperately retreated. It perfectly fires a fast rocket-assisted projectile perfectly designed to pierce heavy coalition armor. American ground troops successfully captured these massive weapons completely intact because American air power decimated the operators long before the ground war began. Carl Gustav M3 MAAWS, the Ranger Cannon. This highly advanced 84mm recoilless rifle was exclusively carried by elite Army Rangers and Navy frogmen. It brilliantly allows a highly trained two-man team to absolutely repeatedly fire devastating high-explosive rounds at distant enemy bunkers. It completely provided highly mobile light infantry units with the absolute destructive firepower of a light artillery piece. M67 recoilless rifle, the Elephant Gun. This legacy 90mm anti-tank weapon was still actively carried by highly specific rear echelon infantry units. It utilizes a completely unique heavy breech loading system to utterly destroy light enemy armored vehicles. It faithfully provided one absolute final highly dependable defensive combat capability before completely retiring from active American service. Next is the anti-aircraft missiles. FIM-92 Stinger, the Sky Sweeper. This highly portable shoulder-fired anti-aircraft missile system completely protected frontline infantry from hostile attack helicopters. It utilizes a highly advanced infrared seeker to perfectly track the extremely hot exhaust of low-flying enemy aircraft. Its mere presence on the battlefield forced enemy pilots to completely abandon close air support missions against American troops. FIM-43 Red-Eye, the Legacy Launcher. This older generation shoulder-fired anti-aircraft missile was still carried by highly specific rear echelon logistical units. It utilizes a highly basic thermal seeker that can only actively track the burning rear exhaust of escaping aircraft. It faithfully served one absolutely final combat deployment before being completely replaced by highly superior modern systems. SA-7 Grail, the Heat Seeker. Advancing coalition forces completely confiscated these dangerous shoulder-fired anti-aircraft missiles from deeply entrenched enemy infantry divisions that mass surrendered. It utilizes a sensitive infrared tracking seeker to actively hunt the hot engine exhaust of American helicopters. American troops successfully secured massive crates of these terrifying enemy missiles completely hidden entirely inside deeply buried desert supply caves. Igla-1, the Advanced Heat Seeker. American Special Forces actively hunted down and explicitly captured these upgraded Soviet shoulder-fired anti-aircraft missiles from elite enemy air defense units. It dangerously ignored standard decoy flares to strictly aggressively pursue the raw heat of American helicopter engines. Ground forces systematically located and confiscated these highly dangerous systems directly from abandoned enemy airbases to permanently permanently ensure American aerial supremacy. Next is the infantry mortars. M224 mortar, the company tube. This highly portable 60mm mortar system provided completely immediate indirect fire support for advancing American infantry companies. It can be rapidly fired directly from a highly simplified handheld baseplate during sudden intense desert firefights. It flawlessly allowed frontline troops to completely suppress deeply entrenched enemy positions without waiting for heavy artillery support. M252 mortar, the infantry artillery. This absolutely devastating 81mm medium mortar was heavily utilized by specialized infantry support platoons. It features a highly advanced blast attenuation device to completely protect the firing crew from massive concussive shockwaves. It effectively lobbed massive high-explosive shells directly into completely fortified enemy trench networks across the vast desert. M120 mortar, the heavy rain. This massive 120mm heavy mortar system completely obliterated deeply fortified enemy bunkers with unbelievable explosive power. It was frequently heavily mounted entirely inside tracked armored personnel carriers to perfectly maintain rapid cross-country mobility. It provided advancing mechanized infantry battalions with the absolute devastating destructive force of traditional heavy field artillery. Next is the anti-personnel mines. M18A1 Claymore, the directional mine. This highly legendary anti-personnel mine fires absolutely hundreds of deadly steel balls in a massive explosive arc. It was heavily utilized to completely protect highly vulnerable forward operating bases from sudden nighttime infantry assaults. It brilliantly decimated massive waves of charging enemy soldiers before they could ever closely reach American fighting lines. M14 anti-personnel mine, the toe popper. This incredibly exceptionally tiny explosive mine is specifically designed to severely maim rather than instantly kill. It heavily uniquely forces the highly burdened enemy unit to dangerously carry screaming wounded soldiers off the active battlefield. It creates completely massive psychological absolute terror for retreating enemy infantry deeply traversing the empty desert. M16 bounding mine, the bouncing Betty. This absolutely deeply terrifying fragmentation mine physically violently launches itself completely straight up into the air before detonating. It violently explodes at exactly waist height to heavily inflict absolute maximum deadly shrapnel casualties. It perfectly entirely prevented highly aggressive enemy infantry from secretly flanking isolated American combat outposts. Next is the anti-tank mines. M15 anti-tank mine, the heavy blocker. This massive, highly explosive steel mine was aggressively buried by combat engineers to halt enemy armored counterattacks. It requires heavily immense physical pressure to detonate to completely ensure it exclusively targets massive heavy vehicles. It completely blows the heavy metal tracks right off any main battle tank that unfortunately drives over it. M19 anti-tank mine, the plastic blocker. This highly advanced anti-vehicle mine is completely constructed of plastic to actively avoid absolutely all metal detectors. It completely denies safe movement for massive enemy tank columns trying to escape the advancing coalition forces. It incredibly brutally forced totally trapped enemy armored divisions to be completely destroyed by circling American attack helicopters. M21 anti-tank mine, the belly piercer. This highly specialized anti-armor mine specifically violently detonates a massive shaped explosive charge directly upwards. It brilliantly easily completely pierces the highly vulnerable unarmored underbelly of deeply heavy main battle tanks. It absolutely guarantees a complete catastrophic mobility kill against the most heavily armored combat vehicles in the war zone. Next is the demolition explosives. C4 plastic explosive, the demo block. This highly stable moldable explosive absolutely completely resembles highly innocent white modeling clay to the naked eye. It was aggressively used by elite combat engineers to absolutely completely shatter massive enemy artillery barrels. It brilliantly destroys totally vital captured enemy combat equipment absolutely completely beyond any possible repair. M1A2 Bangalore torpedo, the wire clearer. This massive long explosive metal tube was highly heavily explicitly used to utterly clear thick defensive barbed wire. Elite combat engineers completely push it deeply straight under totally fortified hostile enemy defensive barricades. Its totally massive violent explosive blast completely rapidly clears a perfectly safe path for advancing infantry. M2A4 shaped charge, the hole puncher. This specialized explosive totally violently heavily focuses absolutely all its total explosive energy completely entirely straight downward. It was aggressively entirely used to utterly completely blow massive deep holes absolutely entirely through thick concrete. It flawlessly allowed incredibly brave soldiers to completely securely drop totally deadly grenades deeply completely inside enemy bunkers. TNT demolition block, the classic boom. This totally legendary yellow explosive block has deeply actively faithfully served entirely since the first global conflict. It provides highly reliable explosive power for absolutely totally completely general combat engineering demolition duties. It safely easily completely destroyed entirely completely thousands of tons of captured highly dangerous enemy ammunition. Next is the combat knives. M9 Bayonet, the rifle sword. This highly versatile combat knife completely mounts directly onto the absolute standard infantry assault rifle. It uniquely features a highly specialized wire cutter actively built completely directly into the heavy steel blade. It completely flawlessly served as both a deadly melee combat weapon and a highly vital survival tool. M7 Bayonet, the Vietnam blade. This older generation combat bayonet was still actively carried by numerous deploying frontline infantry troops. It features a highly sharpened double-edged blade that is built explicitly for brutal close quarters combat. Soldiers successfully utilized it to maintain absolute rigid control over fully captured hostile enemy combatants. Ka-Bar combat knife. The Marine legend. This absolutely iconic heavy combat knife remains the proud symbol of the United States Marine Corps. It features a massive fixed blade and a highly durable leather handle perfectly suited for extreme desert heat. Marines utilized it for absolutely everything from opening heavy ammunition crates to fighting in deeply entrenched bunkers. Ontario Mark III Navy knife. The Frogman blade. This highly specialized heavy dive knife was uniquely issued specifically to elite naval special warfare operators. It features an incredibly tough rust-resistant blade perfectly designed to survive continuous exposure to harsh saltwater. Elite divers trusted it entirely to quickly cut through massive thick ropes during highly dangerous underwater demolitions. Gerber Mark II. The dagger. This extremely menacing double-edged combat dagger was highly favored by specialized elite infantry forces. It features deeply serrated edges specifically designed to easily slice through thick tactical webbing and heavy ropes. Its narrow spear point design makes it an absolutely devastating thrusting weapon during completely silent night raids. Air Force Pilot Survival Knife. The ejection blade. This highly rugged survival knife was securely strapped directly to the flight suits of absolutely all American combat aviators. It features a deeply serrated top spine specifically explicitly designed to rapidly completely saw directly through thin aircraft aluminum. It brilliantly gave completely stranded pilots a highly dependable tool for building desert shelters and surviving deeply behind enemy lines. Next is the survival tools. Mk-13 Day and Night Flare, the rescue signal. This highly compact survival signaling device was actively carried by completely every single combat pilot and elite special operator. It famously produces a highly vibrant cloud of thick orange smoke for daylight rescues and a totally blinding red flare for nighttime emergencies. It completely miraculously saved absolutely countless downed aviators by clearly marking their highly isolated positions for incoming rescue helicopters. Next is the vehicle port weapons. M231 firing port weapon, the Bradley gun. This incredibly unique automatic weapon was specifically designed to be fired from inside armored vehicles. It completely lacks a traditional aiming stock and fires at an absolutely terrifying rate of cyclic speed. It allowed mechanized infantry squads to safely spray heavy suppressive fire without ever opening their armored hatches.